But I'll tell you what, we're going to start off with that story that's being talked about not only in the state of Ohio and locally, but across the country.
We told you yesterday that 24-year-old Anthony Emmanuel Labrador Sierra is behind bars.
Yeah, and tonight we are learning new information about the Venezuelan man who is accused of attending Perrysburg High School as a student for more than a year.
We've got team coverage tonight. Melissa Andrews talked to an attorney who has been helping Labrador Sierra obtain a trafficking visa.
And Chase Bachman also joining us. He has more about his involvement. We're talking about Labrador Sierra's, his involvement in activities with the high school. We'll get to Chase here in just a moment.
But first, the process of verifying Labrador Sierra's age and citizenship is underway while he sits in the Wood County Jail accused of forging documents to enroll in school. Melissa Andrews talked with that attorney representing Labrador Sierra. Mel, you found out that this is not a cut and dry process.
Well, that's because Labrador Sierra says he is a 17-year-old homeless human trafficking victim from Venezuela, not the 24-year-old man police say he is. His human trafficking attorney is trying to get to the bottom of it in a case like none she's ever seen.
People in Perrysburg have questions. How is it that a Venezuelan man spent more than a year posing as a high school student?
I think that there needs to be investigation as to, where was the ball dropped?
You just wonder what his final motive was. If you're 24-year-olds, why do you want to be going to high school unless it's something that you shouldn't be doing?
Megan Madamo represents victims of trafficking. She says Labrador Sierra gave her permission to talk with us on his behalf. She's been representing him for months to obtain a trafficking visa, but as a 17-year-old.
Because he was a minor, we worked with Perrysburg School and his foster parents to file something called special immigrant juvenile status.
Madamo says that allows someone to apply for the trafficking visa, but that process hit a snag Tuesday when Perrysburg police said Labrador Sierra's Venezuelan birth certificate is fake.
But right now we have the certificate that he provided to everybody else, which on his face seems valid. But given the new information that we've received, we're now trying to get that a certified copy to validate that that's what's happening.
She says her organization is working with Homeland Security to get to the bottom of whether Labrador Sierra is a teen or an adult.
And the complaint said that he was accused of forging his birth certificate, which was news to us. So that was a little shocking, to say the least. So right now we're trying to figure out what's actually true, what's happening, what's true. And we're not the police. It's not my job to investigate that, and I'm not qualified to do that.
Some are waiting for those answers to who was sitting in those classrooms, a victim or a fraud.
Of course, it's concerning for Perrysburg students, parents, faculty, all of them. But if this is a case of human trafficking, I think we need to be sensitive to the victim in that case as well. So I think we need to pause for a moment and make sure we have all of the information, knowing there could be more than one victim in this.
I think that the school has no fault in this, in my opinion. I think they followed everything that they were supposed to do. It's just hard to understand where was the ball dropped.
Attorney Madamo says she wants to clarify something she says is false from Perrysburg police. Her organization has not submitted a visa application for Labrador Sierra. She says that's a several months long process, and that was just starting when this alleged fake birth certificate was discovered.
Mel, you also talked to the mother of Labrador Sierra's child today. Police said she is the one who identified him as an adult and that she was in the car when he was arrested. What does she have to say about his age?
Well, she told me she doesn't know his age at this point, and she's not sure what his purpose was in doing this. She said it's got nothing to do with her and that her only responsibility is to talk with police. She is also asking for respect and sensitivity for herself and her daughter. Jeff?
Well, thanks. We learned a couple of hours ago that Immigration and Customs Enforcement is now involved. ICE issued a detainer yesterday for Labrador Sierra. In a statement, the agency assistant secretary said, quote, "It is disturbing that a grown man would impersonate a teenager and infiltrate the lives of underage girls and boys to fool them into doing God knows what," end quote. Right now, Labrador Sierra is only charged with forgery and no other criminal charges. Our team coverage continues tonight with Chase Bachman. And Chase, we know he was involved in sports at the school. What more have we found on this point?
Well, Jeff, we're learning more about Anthony Labrador's time at the school. We know he was involved in soccer and swim programs at Perrysburg, and that brought up a number of questions, including what that means for the teams involved. We reached out to the Perrysburg Athletic Department. They forwarded us a message from the OHSAA, which looked at the case and says Perrysburg, quote, took all appropriate action to verify, end quote, Labrador's information. They also say the school had no way of knowing or combating the fraud. The OHSAA says the teams he played on will not face any penalties or have to forfeit any of those games, but Labrador's eligibility to play has been revoked. We also got a statement directly from the OHSAA saying they were contacted by Perrysburg schools earlier this week about the Labrador case and that the athletic eligibility piece of this situation is just one part of a larger situation. Labrador was also wearing a Toledo Celtics jersey when he was arrested. We reached out to the Toledo Celtics, who did not confirm or deny he was a member of the club. They said they do not condone any illegal activity. Reporting in studio, Chase Bachman, WTOL 11.